Have you ever felt like you're watching your life more than living it? Like your mind is constantly evaluating, judging, narrating, even when there's nothing wrong? We've been told that self-awareness is power, that it's the first step to growth. But what if too much self-awareness doesn't make you wiser, it makes you anxious? What if the habit of overanalyzing everything, your thoughts, your emotions, your past, isn't helping you heal, but slowly pulling you apart? This is the self-awareness paradox. Let's dive in. There's a strange thing happening in our generation. We talk more about mental health than ever before. Therapy is no longer taboo. Mindfulness is trending. We journal, meditate, reflect. And yet, more people feel lost, anxious, and stuck than ever. It doesn't add up, does it? Well, it does, if you understand this. Self-awareness is not always medicine. Sometimes, it's poison. See, self-awareness is supposed to help you understand your emotions, spot patterns, heal past wounds. But what happens when you start pathologizing everything? You feel a wave of sadness, and instead of letting it pass, you wonder, what's wrong with me? Am I depressed again? Is this some childhood trauma I haven't unpacked? You feel anxious before a presentation, and your brain screams, why do I always do this? Is this social anxiety? Should I go back to therapy? You spiral. Not because of the emotion, but because of the analysis. This is the danger, turning normal feelings into perceived problems. And once you start labeling everything as a red flag, it's hard to see anything as okay. In the 70s and 80s, something terrifying happened in therapy circles. It was called false memory syndrome. People, encouraged by therapists, began recovering memories of things that never actually happened. Why? Because when you go digging long enough for pain, you'll find it. Even if you have to invent it. That's what unchecked self-awareness can do. It doesn't always lead to truth. Sometimes, it builds a more elegant prison. And here's where it gets even darker. The most self-aware people aren't always the healthiest. They're often the most trapped. Trapped in a loop of thinking about thinking. Analyzing their emotions instead of living through them. Trying to solve discomfort instead of experiencing it. You know what that leads to? Burnout. Numbness. Decision paralysis. Constant low-level dread. And worst of all, a life that feels like it's happening in third person. But here's the truth. Not every shadow needs a flashlight. Some feelings are just part of being human. You're not broken for feeling anxious before a date. You're not damaged because you cry for no reason sometimes. You're alive. So what do we do? How do we escape the trap of too much self-awareness? Here's the shift. 1. Treat emotions as signals, not alarms. Most people treat every uncomfortable emotion like a fire alarm that demands urgent action. But emotions, at their core, are feedback, data points from your internal world. They're not always warnings, sometimes, they're simply reminders. A wave of sadness might just mean you need rest, not that you're spiraling into depression. Anxiety before an event might be excitement in disguise. Practice. When an emotion arises, pause. Instead of reacting or analyzing immediately, label it gently. This is stress, this is fear, this is uncertainty. Then ask, what might this be telling me? That small shift keeps you present instead of panicked. 2. Quit the constant diagnosis. You don't need to turn every off day into a case study. Not every low mood is a crisis. Not every mental dip is a disorder. Constantly trying to decode your brain like a mystery novel only reinforces the belief that something must be wrong. Practice. If things are going relatively well, relationships stable, work manageable, no major crises, don't dig for problems. Take your emotional temperature weekly, not hourly. And if today feels meh, just let it pass like a cloudy sky. 3. Reclaim the physical world. Your body can anchor you when your mind wants to wander. Physical movement forces your attention outward. It interrupts mental loops and gives you something immediate to engage with. Sweating, lifting, cleaning, walking barefoot in the grass, it's all therapy without the overthinking. Practice. Build daily rituals around motion. A morning walk. Cleaning your space without a podcast. Cooking without distractions. These small, embodied acts pull you out of your head and into the moment. 4. Externalize. Don't internalize. The more thoughts swirl in your mind, the more distorted they become. Internal monologues can easily spiral. But when you externalize, when you write, talk, draw, you separate yourself from the thought. You see it more clearly, and it loses its grip. Practice. Create a mind dump habit. Open a journal or voice memo and let it pour out, unedited, unfiltered. Don't worry about grammar or coherence. You're not trying to impress, you're trying to express. Once the thought is out, you can choose to engage with it or just move on. 5. Embrace uncertainty without a label. We crave labels because they give us a sense of control. This is anxiety. That's burnout. But overlabeling can become another trap, where everything must fit neatly into a box before you can move forward. Practice. When discomfort arises, resist the urge to define it. Sit with the "I don't know what this is yet." Let uncertainty exist without judgment. Remember, growth often comes from the gray zones, not the neatly labeled ones. Here's the paradox. The more you obsess over being mentally healthy, the less mentally healthy you feel. Because you're always checking, monitoring, diagnosing. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is let go. To stop trying to feel better and just feel. So, if you've been feeling stuck in your head lately, know this. You're not alone. You're not broken. You're just aware. Now take a breath and get back to living. This is Inspiration Codex, where we turn insight into action. If this spoke to you, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to get out of their own head. Until next time, stay grounded, stay growing, stay human.